From the New York Post, vast majority of Americans don't see Dems as a party with strong leaders that get stuff done. CNN poll. This is amazing. Check this out. CNN actually lost their mind over this when Harry Enton was going over this. They say that when asked which party has strong leaders, 40% of American adults said Republicans, 16% said Democrats, 43% said neither. Asked which party can get things done, 19% said Democrats, 36% said Republicans, 44% said neither. The Democratic Party is currently having top secret missions. These people are permanent children. They are mentally unstable and unwell. They are not normal. And so call them whatever you want. Histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic, all those personality disorders. They got this story about Project Searchlight, Project Wildflower, Project Sam. Democrats don't just have meetings where they sit down like, hey, guys, let's go grab a cup of coffee and talk about strategy. They say, we're going to go to a resort, spend $20 million on a project name. Give it a code name, show up, and then lament to each other as wealthy lunatics why they can't communicate with regular Americans. They need people. They're hiring. I'm going to pause. Guys, I just figured it out. I'm going to start a consulting firm for Democrats because they're paying millions of dollars for people to tell them exactly what I'm saying right now. Why am I giving it away for free? Look, they're holding meetings to have people tell them, I'm not kidding, to dump the woke ideology. Like, they couldn't just listen to someone like me who donated the max to like 2 or 3 Democrats in 2020. They're like, no, it's because Tim Pool's secretly right wing. What about Joe Rogan? He's far right as well. Let's hire a consultant for $20 million to tell us what's going on. And he goes, yeah, woke is ridiculous. You got to get rid of it.
You've got people like Richie Torres that are, I think he's a congressman, that are, a legitimate voice that are saying, look, if the Democrats want to actually be viable again, we have to dump this woke stuff. And, he's getting attention. But as of right now, there's not a lot of proper motion in the Democrat Party. David Hogg is not the kind of dude that is going to be a leader. There's ethics stuff with him, I guess. But yeah, I've never seen a political party so lost in my entire life.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Look at this, like 16%. That's just absolutely wild. 16% said that Democrats had strong leaders. That's a fact statement. And that 84% of people who saw that, they get it. There's no Democrats.
No.
You got people like Gavin Newsom going on Bill Maher trying to seem like, push himself or shift himself to more of a centrist point of view, as if like we haven't seen the last 20 years of his career.
They're grifters. They don't have any consistent ideology. And so this is what's lost. I'll put it this way. The reason why Gavin Newsom isn't going to succeed is not because we can see the past. It's not because we know he's a grifter. The fact that he was so callow and spineless when he was governor is why. He bent the knee to woke ideology nonsense. He said, tell me what to say and I'll say it. Now that he's coming around and saying, well, I'm being a bit more moderate. It's like, bro, we don't care what you're claiming now. The reality is some people may be swayed by it, but the reason he's doing is all around as a person, he is a weak person. That means even if he came out in public and said, I am changing my mind and rebranding and I want to be moderate, we'd be like, okay, that's fine. You're a weak person who can't win elections. I get it. He won governor, but I don't see this guy going to the national level. He's like feels like a B list. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that X factor. He's not a top tier guy. The fact that he was willing to just say whatever Democrats want him to say proves it.
You couldn't even beat Ron DeSantis. What makes him think he can go on a national level? Ron came in, third on the national scale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason is because the Democrats have so few options. Like, you've got at least a decade or maybe 15 years of Gavin Newsom being the mayor of San Francisco and then going on to governor, where he said, we're going to fix the homeless problem. We're going to fix the homeless problem. We're going to fix the homeless problem. Multiple times, multiple different venues, says it all the time. And they still have yet to actually fix the homeless problem. The amount of history that he has in California and the bad things that have happened while he's the governor or the mayor of San Francisco, all those things are just ripe for the Republicans to tear him apart. I don't see how he actually would be viable beyond being able to raise money, because people like to give him money because of that smile.
I think the differences between the left and liberals within the Democrat Party are irreconcilable, and it would behoove Republicans to continue to exploit that divide. And I think they'll be able to win a handful of elections moving forward if they continue to do so. I think the left in the Democrat Party has like a hard cap at 30%, but then the other people in the party won't swallow a pill like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez long term. So like, I think she could win a primary, but then lose hard in a general election. And I think the Republicans could make the situation such that that they're going against these types of people.
I don't think ideology matters as much. It certainly does because woke is broke. But my point is that AOC, Newsom, some of the top names they got, they are weak people. Now, don't get me wrong, they're stronger than average. Gavin Newsom obviously won a governorship. Congratulations. I'm saying for the presidency, Donald Trump walks on stage at a rally and imitates a politician body slamming a journalist. He is a strong man. That's why Democrats were screaming he's a fascist. And Republicans are like, I'm on the schoolyard. I want the bully to be in my corner. I want him standing in front of me, protecting me from everybody else and guaranteeing what I want. I don't want to be against the bully. So I see Gavin Newsom. You look at his brand. Let me just say it again like this. A smarmy, wishy-washy guy who flip-flops to try and attract voters comes off as spineless and weak. Donald Trump says whatever Donald Trump keeps defending Operation Warp Speed even when he gets booed. He's like, well, you may not like it, but whatever. Look at him when he's at the Libertarian Convention. And he was like, oh, you don't want to vote for me? Then lose. Take your 3%. It's hilarious.
Great.
Oh, and just to answer your
So
question.
true. Donald Trump telling how it is at the Libertarian.
Yeah, and just to answer your question,
Take your
Phil,
3%.
Phil, about Gavin Newsom and talking about the homelessness. I'm looking at Chat GPT right here. In the last 20 years, California spent $2.8 billion on homelessness. Where is all of that money?
Train to nowhere.
Where is
Oh, yeah, the trend.
They've spent billions of dollars on this thing and have
Out in the
0% of it built, or maybe 0.1%. I think there's like one section, like to mark where it's going to start or something. This done nothing with it.
This is how you end up with authoritarianism or an emperor. This is how a republic falls to an empire, to an emperor. Because people in California are going to get to the point where they're just like, how come we can't build a train? What has happened to this country where we literally say, let's build a train? They can't do it. Trump's going to come in, or something's going to happen where some guy says, vote for me, give me the power, and I'll just do it, and I'll ignore everybody else. And they're going to vote for a strongman. And then they're going to say, in order to build this, we need permits and laws passed. And he's like, nope, don't care. And he's going to send in teams, start building. And they're going to be like, you can't do that, though there's laws in place. And he's going to be like, sue me. This is what happens. People get fed up with broken systems, and they just say, do it anyway.
That's what the Democrats do anyway, right?
Yeah.
To further exemplify that point, it's not only on the federal level where Democrats massively screw things up, even on the state level where they're in total power, they manage to screw things up. So in states like California and New York, you can't build, you can't afford a house, rental prices are out of control. And why? Because you can't build anything in any of these states because of the different environmental laws or regulations, and everything becomes so burdensome to build in any of these states as opposed to any of these red states. So they don't manage their own states well. New York's in a bunch of debt. I'm sure the situation in California is also horrendous. Their management of resources, I believe there's a huge water crisis now going on in California that's been ongoing for some time. So the Democrats don't manage the states that they have total power in well at all. So, on the federal level, people have no faith in them. On the state level, they don't even have faith in them. So I could see why people have such low faith as these polls were showing.
Like, I mean, we started talking about how bereft of leadership the Democrat Party is. And it's because it's all either old people or people that don't have a realistic view on what the government can do. And I think that Gavin Newsom is, for as long as he's been in California government, I think that he exemplifies that. He responds to what he believes the Democrats want, as opposed to things that are actually going to be good for California. So, I mean, I don't know that they're going to be able to find anyone better. I mean, Pritzker, I don't know that he's going to be, I think that he's too big. I think he's too fat. I think he's a fat guy, and I think people won't elect a fat guy like that.
I think Isn't AOC the clear end? Like, isn't that the clear direction the Democrats are going in?
I mean, maybe, but I know Tim doesn't think that a woman would actually win. I think that she could get the primary, though.
A woman will win when both parties put up a woman, and people have no choice.
When it's Nikki Haley versus AOC.
So I was watching.
Don't
this,
say
I was
that.
watching this.
2036.
I was watching this video today on Google's Gemini glasses or whatever. There's this young Asian woman, and she's wearing glasses, and she's like, she looks at a bookshelf, then turns away and says, "Okay, I didn't see what that book said, but maybe Gemini did." And then she goes, "Gemini, can you tell me what the white book was called?" And then this AI voice comes on, and it's a woman who says, "The white book was titled this, that, or otherwise." The AI voice had vocal fry. And I mean, it was like, I hate Google. And I was like, why are they doing a presentation where their AI voice is using vocal fry, where they talk like this? Like, why would it do that?
I don't know.
Because for one, it wasn't really an AI.
Oh, okay.
I'd assume it was just a woman reading a script they were claiming was AI. Or they trained their AI to do vocal fry. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't notice vocal fry. It is common among prominent women in media. They try and for whatever reason, but it's off-putting to a lot of other people who notice it right away. So this young woman who was introducing it was not using vocal fry, which gives her a higher pitched voice. That's her natural register. But there are a lot of women that try and talk with a lower register, so they push their voice down and they'll talk like this, and it goes real low, and you hear that rasp. And a lot of people are annoyed by that. This is why I think AOC and many women cannot win. And the left should agree with me on this one. Inherent sexism, call it whatever you want. Some people said, yeah, but what about Margaret Thatcher? Why? Because in a parliamentary system, you vote for the party, not the person. So you're voting for a party and then they put a woman. But for a presidential system, you think, like, let me ask you guys honestly, how tall is AOC? 5'4"?
She's short, something like that.
5'4". So Kamala Harris on the presidential debates asked for a smaller podium so that on camera, relative to her body size, she didn't look tiny. Here's another example. Every time I meet somebody, they say like, oh, wow, you're a lot taller than I realized. Because our cameras are positioned above head length, whereas most shows like Fox News, for instance, they do what's called blocking. So our table is, we're all sitting around the table. If we were going to do blocking like cable TV, we'd all sit on one side of the table, and then the cameras would be at chest height. What ends up happening is those that are watching the video, they will see as though they are 5.5 feet tall. So like in movies, for instance, this is what they do. The cameras are always held at chest height. So women who are 5'2" look pretty big on the screen. They look like they actually fill up the entire screen. And then you see them in person, you're like, wow, they're tiny. This is what was going on with Kamala Harris. She wanted a smaller podium so that relative to her body size, she looks big on the podium because Trump is very large. People vote based on height. People vote based on depth of voice. AOC, when she went to that rally, it's the perfect example where she was hooting and shaking her fist and she was going, let's go, yeah. I'm like, let's talk about Nixon and Kennedy, where everybody said,
I was just about to say that too.
On radio versus TV. On TV, everybody said Kennedy won because Nixon was all sweaty and disheveled looking. On radio, everyone said Nixon won because they couldn't see it. Now what happens when AOC and Trump are on podcasts or radio and people are just listening and they're not watching, and they hear, well, I'm going to tell you why we want to run this, versus, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch him in the face hard and strong. People don't understand these subtleties. They don't believe in them. And it's fascinating to me because if it were not correct, Coca-Cola would not be spending billions of dollars on market research every year to figure out the perfect way to sell you something. All of these major ad campaigns craft the perfect way to sell things. And I'll tell you this too. There'd be no political consultants telling people to wear colored ties, saying you got to wear a blue colored tie with these stripes. Now look, sitting here in front of you guys, AOC versus me arguing over what we should order for food, probably not going to be much of a difference because it's 6-7 people. She's going to say, I think we should be doing this, that, or otherwise. And it's going to be like, pizza does sound pretty good. And I'm going to say, well, I kind of would like hot dogs. And then the whole internet erupts with conspiracy theories over us choosing to order Chicago-style food. Besides the point. However, when you're dealing with 100 million voters, A 0.01% fractional change can swing the entire election. So while we don't care personally, and these liberals might be like, who cares if AOC's got a high-pitched voice? If 0.01% of people do, she loses.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have much room, especially after this last election.
They have no room.
They're literally as lost of a political party as I've ever seen. They have no leader. Their actual platform has a significant number of very, very unpopular positions, and they don't have the ability to kind of moderate on those positions because the extremists are the ones that are the activists, and they tend to be.
Well, not just that, but also the establishment that's been in charge for so many years. They didn't go to the bench and start developing other talent, right? They've been in charge for so long. I mean, look at how long Pelosi's been there and Maxine Waters and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure the level of AAA that they have down there for Congress people. I'm sure
you're
there's
probably
some,
right.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.